Hello, everyone, and welcome to my show. I'm your girl, Melody Trice, and you know I'm all about living life unlimited. Well, during this season of Valentine's Day, I wanted to make sure I brought some people into this show that was going to make sure that you was living life unlimited in your love life, right? We all need a little tips here and there about love and really what true love really is and what causes us to fall in love anyways, those attributes that people have that attract us to them. Well, I want you guys to stay tuned because after this break, we'll be right back. Well, welcome, Dr. Ryeal Simms.
Yes.
How you doing?
Good, good. Thank you so much.
Well, look, one of the things about, they call you the relationship scientist.
Yes.
So technically, got to be some science to love, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So, one of the things I was thinking about during this time, Valentine's Day, we all, want to be in love and have our true love with us. And I know you was mentioning to me that it's a difference between being in love and having true love.
Yes.
So what is the difference?
Yeah, well, in love, it takes no effort to fall in love. It's really easy to fall in love. When you fall in love, you're experiencing an altered state of consciousness, a euphoria, a high. You start experiencing all of the chemicals that we have, phenylethylamine, serotonin, oxytocin, all of those. What happens is that it triggers our mesolimbic, dopaminergic pathways, and it goes into the ventral tegmental area. What happens is it gives us
some big language. I ain't gonna lie, I don't know what that means.
I'm explaining. I'm explaining. It gives us dopamine, right?
Oh.
And it goes into our pleasure center part of our brain.
Okay.
So this is what makes us all high. Gives us that, oh my God, it seems like I've been knowing him forever. And nothing's going to ever happen in our relationship. Our relationship is going to be perfect, 100%. Wow. And we're never going to have any arguments.
So how can a person, when they are in love, right, and how can they change and keep that feeling? Because if it's something that's making them feel like, okay, I'm on cloud 9, and then all of a sudden you say, okay, I'm not in love with that person anymore. So how do they maintain that high of being in love?
Yeah. Actually, when we say the word in love, that word should really be, it's really backwards, because true love should be in love, right? Because the beginning stage of love is that infatuation. And that's when we just have all of those chemicals and everything, and it's going to decrease. It's definitely going to decrease. And so now, when it decreases, this is when it's time for us to put effort into the relationship.
Oh, to maintain it.
To maintain the relationship. But what happens is that people experience that decrease, and they think that the relationship is over.
Oh.
They think,
like I'm not in love anymore.
I'm not in love anymore.
Wow.
But you are. It's actually, to even break it down, you don't want to be in love anymore.
You want them to have that true love.
You want them to have the true love.
Well, how do you know if that person is your true love if you don't have that high anymore? Because, a lot of times, especially during this time, Valentine's Day, and people want to be with that true soulmate.
Yeah.
So is it a such thing as like having a soulmate? Because people fall in and out of love all the time.
That's an excellent question. It really is. It's an excellent question, and I've been talking about that for years. When we talk about soulmates, you actually don't have just one soulmate. I think
you have multiple soulmates.
Yeah, that would be totally unfair.
Because that ain't cool with me.
Yeah.
To have,
Well, just think about this. Think about you meet a soulmate at age 20, right? And your significant other goes to war. And tragically, he happens to die, right? Now, what do? That was your soulmate. What do you do now?
Wow, you find someone else.
Because there is other soulmates out there for you.
Because I was under the impression that you were saying, like, when you have one person, then you can have other people still with that person.
No.
And be, because I know
but there's
people-
other soulmates out there. There's other soulmates out there. What happens is that, you know, when you usually see people at an older age and they lose their significant other, so they choose not to date again, right? But there is another soulmate out there. There's someone out there that have the same, what I call the major histocompatibility complex. And what that is identifying someone else's immune system, DNA, like a combination. You know, when we say we have chemistry, right? That's breaking down what chemistry really looks like.
Oh, wow.
So when we say we have chemistry, there's somebody else out there that has the same chemistry, right? Or the opposite match, I like to say, because the body isn't looking for the exact same chemistry, the same DNA, the same immune system, right? Because it rejects, it's looking for the opposite of it, right?
That makes sense. And that's how it kind of becomes one, because it's like a negative and positive coming together.
Wow, I've never heard anyone say that but myself. That was totally awesome.
Wow.
Yes, you're exactly right. Just like a battery, the positive and the negative.
And that's how the car runs, and that's
how it runs, and that's how you create what I call the Tarzetto theory. You create that energy, which is the third entity, which is called now relationship. Right? The positive and negative comes together in energy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk some more. I want you guys to stay tuned. After this break, we're going to have some more, because we need to know about this love thing. I call it a love thing.
Yes.
We'll be right back, you guys. Welcome back, everybody. So we are here with Dr. Ryeal Simms. You know, one of the things I have to ask you is, when people actually fall what they call out of love, is it a possibility that they can fall back in love again and it be really true love?
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you're willing to get the necessary help, if you're willing to go to counseling or therapy, it is possible. Yeah.
So when a person say they found that chemistry in that person, how can they lose it? Because if if you're in a relationship with someone and that zeal, so-called, leave, right? That negative turn negative, and you still positive, how can they get that zeal back to going?
Yeah. Something that I talked about earlier is novelty, doing something new in the relationship, right? Concentrating on something that you lost. We've heard this a lot, just going back to when you first met each other, right? What was the things that you used to do? The things that made you laugh, right? The places that you used to go to make each other happy.
Because a lot of people stop dating once they get together. And a lot of people, it's sad to say, but a lot of them even stop having sex.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a relationship. So what causes that? What causes a couple to go from, oh, I love you, love you, love you, till now it's like, okay, is it just life or what?
Well, yeah, it's that too. I mean, it's life, but it's also, it could be that we rushed into a relationship too fast too as well. And that might not actually been the person that was really meant for you.
Oh, wow.
Because remember, when we talk about the chemistry, we also have to make sure that we do our homework. And doing our homework is knowing self first, right? So respecting self is knowing self in order to love self, right? So if we take out time to understand our non-negotiable requirements, our needs, and our wants, then we know what we're actually looking for, right? And especially, I like to tell women that you're the chooser, not the chosen. You're the employer. Us men, we're interested in trying to get the job. So it's important for you to really know what you're looking for in order for you to interview. I mean, it's just like anything else, right?
That's true.
If you are an employer, you have to understand your business. So if you're trying to hire somebody, you know what your business is in order to hire someone, right?
That's true.
So it's really important to understand self.
Because a lot of women don't know. They don't know what it is they want.
No.
And goes both ways.
Because
what men don't know what they want.
Right, because what happens is that we get sidetracked by seeing one's symmetry, the beauty of the person.
The outer appearance, and like,
appearance, and we're like, and what he has, and he makes this much, and but we don't really concentrate to actually see if he has that potential to even be hired by you, right? And it goes back to knowing self. So you know what to look for and what kind of questions to ask this person.
So what causes a person to, once they've been in a relationship and they get hurt, and then all of a sudden they just date frequently? I mean, how can they possibly even find someone if they're frequently dating different people? Because it's Valentine's time. People are just wanting to feel love. They don't want to be alone. So what would you say about that?
Yeah, loneliness is an epidemic. It's a problem. It's a major problem. But you know, what we're seeing today is that there's so many venues out there for people to meet so many different people.
For different reasons.
For different reasons too as well. And I do say, you know, you really have to sit down and ask yourself, are you really ready for a commitment with someone? And if you are, you need to focus. You have to focus. You have to rectangular activating system that we have. And that's something that says, I'm focusing on the relationship. I'm focusing on being committed. So once you get to that point, what happens is that activating system, it blocks off, it filters out the trash. It filters out all of the people that you want to go out and date, and you pretty much find those ones that's serious about really wanting to be connected to you and having a commitment with you. So it's really important to really tell yourself, I am really serious about dating. Because a lot of people who become monogamous serial dater, that's the person who knows that they can just go out and date so many people, right? But they're not really that serious about settling down and making a commitment because you're having fun. You're having fun dating a whole bunch of people.
So,
right?
you know, during this time of Valentine's, and some people are dealing with loneliness, what advice would you say to the men and women out there who are single and looking for love during this time of Valentine's? Because, I mean, you're looking for love and it's Valentine's. You like, I don't want to be alone, but what do I do?
Yeah, but this is the time not to be sidetracked too, because we know that this is a holiday that we don't want to be alone, as well as New Year's as well, right? And just to stay focused, and know that Valentine's Day is just one day.
Just one day.
Right?
That relationship will be forever.
That relationship is forever. You know, so you got to really be careful and not just jump out there because you're saying, I don't want to be alone for Valentine's Day, right? Just stay focused and knowing what you're looking for. And that's the key. The key is really what you said earlier. Most people just don't know.
Just don't know.
And it's so imperative to take out your time to look and to understand what you're really looking for. I mean, it's not difficult.
It's not difficult.
It's not
That
difficult.
is not science. It's just knowing, right?
It's just knowing. It's not science. It doesn't take a legerdemain or prestidigitation or a magic trick. It's simple.
It's simple.
It's simple. Yeah,
but
it's doing
seems
your
like
homework.
the things that we think are mad science is really simple for life. But if people want to know more information and contact you, especially if they're having some relationship issues and really want to know what it is they're looking for and how to find it, how can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, they can look up Dr. Ryeal Simms or the Relationship Scientist. They can also look me up in Facebook, right? The Relationship Scientist, Ryeal, Ryeal Simms, and they can contact me that way. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you so much, and thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that you guys feel better because I do, because it takes two, right?
Absolutely.
It's like that song. It takes two.
Yes,
baby.
yes. It takes, yeah.
So you guys stay tuned. We have more up next. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Well, I want to welcome my next guest, Keandra Jackson, to the show. Come on down. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am doing phenomenal, especially we're talking about love.
Absolutely. That's my favorite thing to talk about.
You are a therapist for marriage and relationships. And so being in that field, during this time of love, what do that mean to you to see marriages kind of not making it during this time?
You know what? It depends on your perspective. There's a lot of people who are still married and who value marriage, but there is a whole new group of us, especially us millennials, who place a different value on marriages, and we're waiting longer to get married, and we're probably not getting married at all at this point because we're more open to either just living with your partner and having kids and not necessarily having that full commitment.
Wow. So wonder why people choose that area. I mean, I know you say the millennials and things are different because I do know here in California, I see a lot of people who have had multiple marriages, married, divorced. So what keeps them staying in that relationship versus saying, you know what, just forget it?
Yeah. So the desire to be married is super important. Like, you have to want to be married. Marriage is so much work. So if you go into it thinking it's a cakewalk, thinking that, this is a breeze, I got this, I don't have to put in any work, it's probably going to fail, truth be told. So you have to have that desire. You have to want to be in it, both you and your partner. So you can't be in a relationship or married to somebody who don't want to put in as much work as you do as well.
So technically it's 100-100. It's not 50-50.
Oh, that is such a lie. That 50-50 thing, oh, no. Let's scratch that.
Okay.
100 and 100. Both parties need to put in 110% actually to make sure that it works, because we live in a time where there's so many different factors on the outside that could try to chip away at your marriage, and you need to make sure that the unit is solid at home, in the bedroom, in the finances, with the kids, with all types of different issues. So yeah. Because
it causes all those things you just named causes people to really give up on the marriage.
Yeah.
And I mean, during Valentine's times, people lack intimacy in that marriage. So how can they actually gain that back during this time of Valentine? I mean, this is the season of love.
Yeah, it is the season of love. And the funny thing about that, people don't realize that divorces and breakups actually spike and increase around Valentine's Day, and they reach an all-time high in the month of March. So just in case people didn't know.
Oh my God, really?
I'm very serious.
Is it because they don't want to be alone? Do you think that's what it is?
There's a level of them not wanting to be alone, but I also think too that people just didn't want to be in a relationship to begin with. And so around that time of Valentine's Day, there's so much pressure. Oh, you got to plan a date. You got to get these roses. And everything is more expensive around that time frame. And you got to meet my family and all of these things. So you have to take all of that into consideration.
So, when they come together and they settle in and marriage and have this family, do you recommend them getting counseling when they see the marriage is starting to diminish?
That's a really good question, Melody. So I would say get counseling way before that. So what people don't realize is that statistics show that married couples, come to counseling 7 years too late.
Really?
7 years too late. So that means they were supposed to be in counseling the whole 7 years ago, and they just now making it. So when you come to someone like me 7 years late, you have all of these layers, all of this baggage, all of the stuff that you've been holding on to and sweeping it up under the rug, and then you expect us as therapists to work magic.
That's true. Like, okay, how much time we can work this out?
Exactly. And people want a quick fix, but when you've been holding on to something for 7+ years, it's not an overnight fix at all. So I encourage people to go to premarital counseling right when they get engaged, but I've also even had some couples come see me before they even got engaged, when they just in a relationship and they see it going steady.
Oh, wow. One of the things I think about is the fact that when you are in a relationship with someone, and, as I was talking to the other guests, and how the sex tend to diminish, and that person steps out of the relationship. And then whether it's the male or the female, they can't get it out of their mind. So how do you get those negative thoughts out of your mind so that you can have a, flourishing marriage?
I don't think you can ever get it out of your mind completely, to be honest with you. But if you value that marriage and you really love that person, you'll be willing to put in as much work as necessary. But they have to be willing to put in the work too. Meaning they have to correct their wrongs. They have to become trustworthy again, because there was broken trust, let's be honest, you know? And you don't want to continue to allow the person to kind of do the same things over and over again to you. So that's one of the things that I would say.
That's crazy because, I've seen people and actually been in that type of relationship myself. And I was like, you know what? I was hurt. I am no longer finna, put myself in that situation.
Yeah.
So how do a person get out of that frame of mind to say, a marriage is good for me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this happened. I've been divorced, but I want to be married. So how do they get out of that frame of mind?
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful question. You have to learn to separate the two. So you have to learn that you're still valuable, you're still lovable. No matter what the previous person has done to you, that doesn't diminish the value that you carry within yourself. And you have the capacity to attract another amazing mate who's going to treat you way better than the previous person. So you have to stand firm. Like, if you believe in love and you believe that it can truly happen to you, it will happen to you, because what you're putting out, you will attract.
Wow. I mean, that's deep, dog.
That's why we have to do work on ourselves.
Because you have to love. It starts with
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely.
And I've noticed that, a lot of times people, as I was talking to the previous guest, not knowing who you are, technically you can't know what mate to have.
At all.
That's amazing.
That is huge. People don't even know who they are individually. So can you imagine getting into a marriage or a relationship with someone who does not have a clue of who they are?
Oh my God. You guys, make sure that you stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break, because that's getting a little deep. We'll be right back. Welcome back, you guys. Oh my God. So before we went to that break, we was talking about people not knowing who they are and attracting people that don't know who they are as well. I believe maybe that's why they end up in a divorce.
Probably so. Like I was mentioning before the break, think about what it would be like to be in a marriage or a relationship with someone who does not know who they are. So if they don't know who they are, it's almost like a teenager, or when you're in your early 20s and you're trying to find who you are, you shift, you change, you switch careers. You don't know what you want to do. Do you want to go to college or not? So being in a relationship with someone or a marriage with someone, they will be very similar to that. They're switching, they're changing, because they're not solid and grounded on who they are. And most of the time, they need to do some internal searching, some internal work, meaning healing from your past, self-love, building up your self-esteem, just working on basic stuff like communication skills, you know?
Because that means a lot.
Huge, you know?
And one of the things you said was about the changing, because in a relationship, you might have started out clubbing when you got married, but as you grew, you changed. So how do a person grow with that person if they're moving from one person, one particular way, to another way of maturity, and they're still immature to keep the relationship going?
Yeah, that's a huge one, because relationships go through seasons. The hot and spicy, and your heart skipping a beat, and it flutters in your stomach when you first meet somebody. That's when to dwindle out a little bit, and reality hits, right? That honeymoon stage of the relationship goes away oftentimes. And so if you're in a position where there's a difference in maturity level, you need to have open communication where you're talking with your partner about, you seem like this is an area where you may need to grow in a little bit, or I might be on a higher level than you are in this area. Let's talk about that and see what we can do. And it's not about, I guess you can say, bashing each other, or because you're on the same team, but it's about pulling that other person up to where you're at and growing them. You know what I mean?
Because a lot of people find a way to just escape it. But like, you know what? This is not working. Let me just leave. And so during Valentine's Day, I mean, first of all, when you say you chose this career, whether the career actually chose you, I mean, personally, what did that affect your life, your relationships? How did it make you look at your own personal self and say, you know what? yeah, I want to get married one day, or no, I don't want to get married. I think I just want to help other people.
Yeah, yeah. So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because even though I'm helping all of these couples, right, I'm actually single. I'm dating right now, so I'm not currently married. And that desire has always been, it is amazing. And that desire has always been on the inside of me, because I didn't see that growing up in my home. I didn't know what a healthy relationship looked like. I saw domestic violence and verbal abuse and physical abuse with my parents. And that was what fueled me, because I said, you know what, it's not supposed to be this way. And no one ever stopped to say, this isn't okay. Let me teach you the right way to be a wife, to be a husband, how to make sure your family stays together. So I made it my personal mission to make sure I did that for other families.
Wow, so technically it's teaching a person, because if they gain that knowledge of how to be a wife, how to be a husband, then that really makes the relationship successful.
And think about it, it's generational.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Because what you see, that's what you get.
Exactly.
Because you're thinking that way.
Exactly. So if you've seen your mom growing up being a healthy wife and knowing what to do and making sure she's handling her household, and seeing your dad be a really great father figure, that's what you're going to pick up on. And you're going to pick up those skills and pass that down to your kids. And then, you know, moving forward. So it's generational. So we have the power to shift generations when we focus on having healthy relationships and healthy families.
And, you know, one other thing I think about is the fact that when people are in those relationships and finding themselves and then wanting to share their relationship, and they have kids, right? And how the kids really take the time away from mom and dad. How do they actually like transition? Because that's a transition all by itself.
It's a huge transition, but people have to understand that there's different roles. Your role as a spouse is completely different than your role as a mother. And I know I had read something in Ebony more recently with Aisha Curry saying that she puts her marriage first before the kids. And there was a lot of backlash about that, but I actually agreed with her, because when your marriage is solid, you're showing your kids a great example of what that's supposed to look like in their home. That doesn't mean you neglect them or don't do anything for them, but you're showing them this is the way mommy and daddy are supposed to handle things, and it's the proper order.
Wow. Well, you know, when you say that, a lot of times women, when they do get those kids, they tend to be like a mommy to their spouse. How can they just make sure I'm not talking to him like he's a little kid? I am keeping those in their prospective places.
Yep, that's why I said that there is sometimes a misplaced of roles. So your role as a spouse is very different than your role as a mother or a father. So I would encourage that spouse to check that person and say, hold on. You're talking to me like our 3-year-old right now. We can't do that. And so, but if you don't bring attention to something, oftentimes people are not aware that they're even doing it.
That's so true. Wow. Well, look, I definitely have been enjoying myself with you, and I want people to know more information, especially they need some counseling, right? But prior to marriage, right? Can you let them know?
Absolutely. So again, my name is Keandra Jackson. I have a private practice in the Los Angeles area. You can find me on all things social media at Keandra Jackson, or you can visit my website, which is kwcouplestherapy.com.
And before you leave, you know, we got to have some marriage therapy right now.
Go ahead, let's do it.
What advice would you say to them people out there doing Valentine's, those marriage couples?
I would say if you're out there in a relationship trying to love on each other, don't focus on the superficial stuff. Don't focus on the roses and having a good date. I want you to make sure that you connect with your partner emotionally. Check in with them. Say, hey, boo, it's Valentine's Day. How is our relationship really going? And then move from there.
Wow. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my God. That just blessed my soul. You know, I may think of marriage a little differently now.
Yes, absolutely. You see?
Okay. Well, you guys, I appreciate you so much for watching the show. I hope that you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And make sure that you're following us on all social media. And we're now on Roku TV. So make sure you go. It's Melody Trice Television as well as Amazon. So we're on all the platforms, right? So till next time, you guys, I'm your girl, Melody Trice. Fine. Relation.